check. Good morning, guys. Breakfast ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ? ಇನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ? 3 hours you have to work now. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ sir. We are future officers, sir. We'll do it. ಹಂಗ? So, I mean, most of you though we have met it. No, most of our, you're all class people. So, myself, Puneet Shankar, people have come for the first time. I'm myself Puneet Shankar. So, this year UPSC CSE have secured 795 rank. And I want to take a session for your CSAT English comprehension. So let's go back to little bit of history, why CSAT is important, okay, why it was introduced or when it was introduced. So if you see your 2000 era, no, all of you have seen 12th fail, very very inspired by it. So that time interview scene and all you have seen where medium of what do you call the officers, it doesn't matter which language they speak, and all your 12th fail scene is there. Right, same case was there in that particular time when 2000 to 2010 12, all this was same thing. Okay, that particular time it was observed that officers when they're becoming they go to they become ambassadors, they come to the parliament, they can't even type one page of in English. Okay, because many of them come from Bihar, UP, all these particular states where actually English is not that strong. They are very very good at aptitude and reasoning. I hope UPSC paper was also like your KPSC paper where CSAT and your reasoning and all was a part of 2 papers. You are aware of that, right? Before 2013. So it was observed that they're not even able to even write 1 page of simple English. Okay, so that particular time Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was there, and he observed all this particular thing, and he suggested UPSC, parliamentary committee was there, UPSC was there, and he suggested that English and reasoning should be made a separate paper, so that at least the officers who are coming, at least the basic English they should know, right? So that is why it was made initially, it was made a qualifying paper, right? Qualifying paper. So even now it is a qualifying paper only. So if you see the eras now, from 2013 it introduced. So 2013 to 2018 and all, people, especially your engineers, science background people, they were very very happy. 1 hour solve mabitte malikotidru. It was very simple, 80 questions. So right, so they used to sleep off, thinking it's very easy because it was easy. Even a 8th standard or 9th standard person can able to do aptitude or reasoning. And English was also like your school copy paste from everything, right? After that, in the year 2019, 20 and 21, these 3 particular years, there was a slight change in the difficulty level of the paper, where there was no direct questions coming from your aptitude or reasoning, right? And if you consider your reasoning and aptitude, why do you think it's a part of, why do officers have to do all this? Because all over the world, if you see the MNCs or the global companies, what are they doing it? The test, the entrance test will be majorly based on aptitude and reasoning, yes or no? And basically is indication of your IQ. The better is your IQ, the better you will be able to solve your reasoning, especially reasoning, right? And aptitude, if you see, if you see in the UPSC, as such, you don't need any particular formulas and all. It is not like your SSC, CGL or AVPS or SBI and all, where formulas you can solve. Yes or no? Little bit of logic and little bit of, if you put your aptitude, you can actually solve those particular questions, right? But in the year 2022 and 23, if you observe, I think there is a slight disturbance, right? Yeah. Now is it better? So in the year 2022-23, what happened? UPSC changed the course of your CSAT. Aptitude, reasoning became very difficult, right? So from year 2022, many people are not even qualifying your paper 2. Are you people understanding? Why do you think that people are not clearing? Because first of all, before 2022, no one used to prepare for CSAT. To be honest, in the institutes and all, there used to be no classes for CSAT. People have attended the classes before, maximum, on 5 days or 10 days, sumne brush up madaki anta maths class used to be, but there never used to be English class, right? But after 22-23, if you see the statistics of last year, out of 27 lakh people who came for your UPSC Prelims, only 78,000 people cleared your paper 2. Only 78,000. Remaining 26 lakh, roughly 22,000 people didn't even clear paper 2. And these people, they were getting very good marks, 90, 100, 110, 120. And these are all like, some of them are a very seasoned player also. Was given 3 attempts, 4 attempts, 5 attempts. Obviously, their knowledge base will be more, right? Compared to you people who are studying for the first year, their knowledge base is more. Are people understanding? But still, those people were not able to, clear the particular exam. That particular time, people and all protested over there. Let's go to Supreme Court. From 33%, let's make it 23% as a qualifying paper, and that they did. But in the Supreme Court, I think I've told you this particular story. UPSC told we are doing this from 78 years. We know what to do, how to do. We are doing pre-independence also, post-independence also. Our job is to get the best officers. Okay, simple. And the case, just closed over there. And I think, even now the notification has come, 33% remains as the qualifying paper. Yes or no? Right. So just understand your quants and reasoning, no, especially in the last 2 years. Sure. Share ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು screen ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Okay. So what was I telling? Yeah, so if you quants and reasoning, if you see, especially last year, at least 8 questions were directly taken from your CAT paper. You understand CAT, no? CAT paper. And, at least 7 to 8 questions were taken from your, JEE paper. I hope you know JEE is the second most difficult exam in the world after UPSC. You are aware of that, right? Even there also people slog like anything. It's not like UPSC aspirants are not capable to do aptitude or reasoning, but we have so much to do. Prelims is just, 6 subjects, but what about mains, the real exam? 24 subjects are there, which includes your optional and essay. And the, the skills you have to develop in mains is too much. So much time it will take, right? So if at all we are giving 6 months for your aptitude and reasoning, 100%, UPSC aspirants also can easily do it. But we cannot give so much time. Ivaga 1 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ exam ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Maybe in the future, you just remember it, okay? Maybe for 2 years or something, people will prepare for 2 years, then give the exam. Because that is what the difficulty level is going up, right? Are people understanding, right? So what is happening is aptitude and reasoning, the difficulty level is going up and up. Okay, it's becoming very difficult to actually cope up with it. If you see the papers over there, no, hardly there are people who cross even 60 questions. Obviously, they'll attend English comprehension, but remaining 30 questions is, is a very, very rare phenomenon that people are attending. Munche ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಜನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there were 2 types of people. Engineers, they used to do aptitude and reasoning and forget about your English. They never used to touch also English because UPSC English, I keep on telling it, Shakespeare also cannot solve it. Okay, so they, they used to completely leave blank of your English. And some people were there, especially from humanities, they used to touch only English part. They never used to touch upon aptitude and reasoning. What you have to do, 28, even if you get, out of 28, 25 correct, that time, you're clearing the exam. And in aptitude, out of 35, even if you get 30 correct, you're clearing the exam. Yes or no? Many people used to do this particular thing. Obviously, you won't get above 100 and all, but at least you'll get the crossing marks, right? But even in Dina, no one can take that particular risk. Because at the same time, English always remain, English is one thing which not many people are able to decipher. And second, aptitude and reasoning has become very difficult. People have given the prelims. If some of you are there, you will understand that, if at all one question you are spending 4 or 5 minutes, equivalent to, 10 questions, there will be 50 minutes or 60 minutes going for that. Then English you have to attend for another 1 hour. So with, hardly 35, 40 questions, it's not possible to, clear the exam. Okay, it's not possible because there you cannot guarantee whether in English you get 100% accuracy or not. Are you people understanding? Right. So that is where English comprehension ka, importance become. So I'll just want to give you the importance of English for a brief period, then we'll directly move to the class. See, English is a very, very important subject right now. Okay. I think yesterday also I was telling you in the class, as an officer, it is expected that you speak at least basic English, right? And even that applies even for the exam. Even for the exam. I know a particular person, very dear friend of mine who has given, 4 interviews. But majorly because of, slightly weak in English, is not able to clear that exam. 4 interviews to start alla. By the time you people will understand, 1 varsha madastalli susta avattirtira. Only for prelims. I'm not even telling about mains. Only for prelims, you'll become tired. So after that, Bardi mains, Bardi going to interview, go to UPSC Bhavan 4 times, still not finding in the list. You don't even realize what amount of disappointment, people will be getting. Okay. If you consider that person, in English, majorly because of your English, and if you see in essay, you should get score in, 85 to 95 range. Okay. And obviously it will matter overall the papers also, it will matter GS papers and all the 4 papers plus optional. That effect will be there, right? And in interview, definitely, if you're giving English medium, you have to tell your thoughts. What do you think? And if the medium of language is not correct, if the medium of language is not correct, it becomes very difficult to make them understand what you think. If people understanding, first of all, after reading everything, having those particular marks, engo confidence, still you'll be like shitting in your pants when you're sitting in the UPSC, interview hall, because it is a pressure situation. 5 people we're going to determine your further future of life. Obviously, you have to show your best. And here, if you're not able to tell exactly what you think, your thoughts and all, it becomes very, very difficult. The people understanding becomes very, very difficult. So, somewhere because of that, even, my friend, even he is lacking a little bit in your, interview marks also. Obviously, over the years has improved, but English has played a major role. Are you people understanding? So, English is a very, very important subject. Okay. So, not just in your interview, even for your essay, even for your GS papers, and obviously your CSAT comprehension. And remember one thing, out of your aptitude, reasoning, and English, since 2013 till 2023, English is a subject which has not increased its difficulty level. Whatever it was there before, no, it has remained the same. Maybe, in the year 2013 to 2018 or 19, slightly, less difficulty. But difficulty level compared to aptitude and reasoning, if aptitude reasoning has gone like this, English has just, taken a plateau. Are you people understanding? So English is one thing which you can actually master. Okay. So to give a brief, why I found this particular technique, I think I've already told you in the class. In one of my attempts, after scoring 128 in GS, which is a very good score, that particular year for general cutoff was 87. And, I was getting 128, roughly, 41 marks more than the cutoff. But in my CSAT, if you see the, obviously your points and reasoning, if you see, obviously you get to know, right? All the institutes will come up the answers. There is nothing like, doubt over there whether this question is correct or not. Once you know it, you can solve it. So points and reasoning was clear. But if you consider English, out of 28 questions, 9 questions I was confident that it will be correct, 9 questions will be wrong. Okay, remaining 10 questions were disputed. All the institutes were having, different answers. Someone were telling option A or someone were telling option B. Some people were telling option C. So there was a disputed. And of those particular 10 comprehension, I just wanted one correct to be in the qualifying list. Avatin Dinake, I don't know what was running. So what was running with respect to luck or something out of 10, even one was not correct. Even one was not correct. What should I do? Is it because of the magnetic pen? Yes, because of the magnetic pen. So even one didn't get corrected. That was the time, highest disappointment came that, arey yaar, aise kya ho sakta hai? So that is the time, actually start with the PYQs, the last 12 years. If you see 2013, there's one model paper also. Okay, so one model papers plus 11 papers. I sat with your English comprehension. How come it went wrong? Because before the attempts and all, I was very comfortable with CSAT, especially in your English. Okay, so I was, frustrated and seeing I was not preparing like others only. So, but this time I had to prepare and I sat with the, passages and all, started deciphering it. And I realized, in the broad classification, there are three types of comprehension, out of which 6 major, kinds of your passages will be there. And other answers so will not go here and there. You don't even have to read the whole passage to get the answers. By just looking at the options, no, and using little bit of common sense and little bit of rules and little bit of tricks, you can actually tell the what is the answer. Are you people understanding? So just I'll give you, the approach of your CSAT initially, how you have to solve, then we'll directly move to your comprehension, right? So just a minute. Yeah. So in your 2 hours, no, in your 2 hours, I tell you, since aptitude reasoning, I'll tell you, 3-4 months back when I was in Delhi, there are multiple institutes which have come up with, 5 months or 6 months course only for CSAT, not for GS, only for CSAT, trying to decipher it. Okay. But if you find the aptitude and reasoning questions now, every year, the source changes, the syllabus changes. No one knows today, no one knows where is the syllabus of your aptitude. They can, maybe speculate about it. Okay, fine. People are making on YouTube or, teaching this particular chapter. They can speculate this can come based on the previous trends, but you cannot guarantee that these pakka they are coming. These chapters are pakka coming. Are you people understanding? Aptitude reasoning is like that, and reasoning I hope you understand. It's purely based on that day how you are going to solve it rather than practicing. Aptitude though you need to practice, right? So I will tell you, since English is a one very easy subject out of the three relatively. So for the next 45 minutes of your first hour, no, see English ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ you cannot get panic. If you get panic, no, you cannot answer. You cannot answer English when you are panicking because ಓದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. When mind is not calm, you cannot read everything. Are you people understanding? So you should be very much calm. So if at all you're putting in the last half an hour or last 45 minutes, on the way you don't catch up the time, or time management correct agagilla. One, you know that you're missing the easy questions. Second, you don't have so much calmness to actually read everything. And I hope some people who have seen the comprehension, some will be very short, some will be very huge, right? So short chikkad use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, if at all you're going for small comprehensions, I think they are the most difficult comprehensions. I'll tell you about it because they're all philosophical. The easiest one or the lengthiest one, but lengthiest ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ time ಇಲ್ಲ. You don't have time to read all those particular things. So always remember, finish off your English game as soon as possible. ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ you can guess that is the answer in aptitude, but English you cannot guess it, okay, until unless you get a confirmation after reading the passage, right? So for the first 45 minutes, this is the ideal time. Ideal time. This depends on person to person. How it depends to person to person. If a person is little bit weak in English, he might take maybe 1 hour. If a person is very good, maybe it can take 40 minutes, but ideally 45 to 50 minutes. You need that much particular time, right? So roughly around 2 minutes it will take, 1.5 to 1 minute 40 seconds to 2 minutes it will take, right? So 45 minutes you keep, and roughly we are assuming according to the recent trends 27 to 28 questions will be asked in your English. 28 questions will be asked in your English. Remaining how many questions are there? How many questions are there? 52 questions are there, and roughly out of which around 18 will be coming from your reasoning, and the remaining will be coming for your aptitude based on the previous trends. It can change also this year. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ರೀಸನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. According to the previous trends. Are you people understanding? Remaining 1 hour 15 minutes dedicate for your reasoning. Towards the end, you touch upon your aptitude. Let us say you have 20-25 minutes, then you touch upon aptitude. Reasoning everyone can do. Aptitude, it's difficult. Okay, it's difficult. So even if the people who know, especially I see many people that they are very good in maths in your PUC school and all, so they take it to the ego. ಅದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅರೆ don't do all those. If at all in 3 minutes, if you're not able to get the answer, skip it. It's okay. No one is watching you in the exam hall. If people understanding, no one is watching in the exam hall. Don't take it to ego. Okay, especially because since you people are first years, I know you'll take it to ego and keep on solving it. If you do it, no, your ego might win, but you will lose in the exam. Okay, so don't spend more than 3 minutes per question in your aptitude and reasoning. Okay, and maximum 2 minutes in your English comprehension easily. Ivattin dinake, once you start solving it, obviously it is little bit extra time you might take, but practice maximum, the most difficult questions, maximum it will take 2 minutes. Otherwise 1 minute is enough to do a comprehension. Are you people understanding? So solve your CSAT paper in this way. Are you people understanding? Yes. So few tips how to develop your English. Few tips how to develop your English. So one is, see editorials, many of you think on information current affairs ella ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ notes ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಾ. In these many years I have observed that editorials are important only at 2 places. One is your interview. Obviously interview you have to read it, okay, because they'll ask you your opinion. In mains and all, no one is asking your opinion. You have to know, you have to write what is asked, told by a Supreme Court, what is told by your committee, what is told by a bureaucrat. Who are you? You're an aspirant, and you will have a limited knowledge. You cannot write your opinion in mains answers, right? So even if the question keyword only justify, comment, give your opinion at the kottag, it's not your opinion they're asking. Okay, are you people understanding? Don't write your opinion. If you write your opinion, no, they will not give you marks in mains. So your opinion matters only in the interview. There you have to write editorial. And second important place is to develop your English. Are you people understanding? That's the only two, majorly, editorials ka usage is there. So if at all you read editorials, Hindu editorials especially, it is very standard English. Okay, news and all come in a different language. News and all come in a different language, but editorials comes in a standard language. So if you're able to grasp that editorial no within 5 minutes, reading comprehension proper ಓದಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 100% that you will be improving English day by day, right? And remember, English is something which cannot be developed in 1 week or 10 days. I hope you understand. It's a language, right? At least it will take a month, at least 2 months or 3 months, depending on person to person. So it won't have magic. So don't start 1 week before next time prelims. Even now if you're starting, no, maybe solving 2 comprehension per day. By the time you go over there, when you're writing your prelims, you don't even have to worry about your comprehension. Are people understanding? So start today for your learning for English, right? And remember, mains alli, apart from writing, the bigger challenge is understanding the question. Because UPSC will be slightly, they'll change the wordings. Okay, they'll slightly make the tricks and all. Ad artha agilla andre it becomes very difficult to answer. Obviously, how will you write 2 or 3 pages without understanding the question, right? So obviously translation and all will be there, but it doesn't mean that you ignore English. Now you people told that no sir, ನಾನು ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿ series ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ sir. It will be in Hindi only. It will be in Hindi only. So if you are good with, you can read Hindi, you can maybe understand. But if you are completely depending on English, that English you have to understand. Illandre, even if you're prepared, if not writing, let us say some particular subject came about XYZ, you're completely prepared for it, but you didn't understand the core demand of it. Core demand, if you have not understood of the question, you will not get marks. Are people understanding? That is why English becomes the important thing. And please guys, don't make it a language issue, regional issue and all. That and all, politics you do. In UPSC and all, obviously, your, language, conservation agirbodu, protection agirbodu, that and all is a different issue. Here you are, going for the, the, what do you call, the most powerful job. Bureaucracy is, there is no bigger job than a bureaucracy. Even the Prime Minister, if you see, he has to listen. If a foreign affairs comes, he has to ask your ex-IFS officer only how to do it. If any security issue comes, he has to ask your ex-IPS officer only, Ajit Doval. If any particular issue, administrative or governance comes, he has to ask the cabinet secretary, IAS only. There is no other job which is bigger than this, not just in India, anywhere in the world. Are people understanding? So it's a responsible job. When a responsible job is there, it's expected that you even the basics of it, right? And we are moving. India is one of the largest economies, is one of the fastest economies. So if at all we are doing it, those gone are the days when we'll think only about our nation. We have to deal with other nations also. And obviously, there is one language which connects all the countries is English. So don't make it a language issue. Okay, you have to pass the exam. That is your only goal. Right now, don't think about ನಾನು ಈ ಕನ್ನಡಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಥವಾ ಹಿಂದಿಲೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಥವಾ ತಮಿಳಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Experiments and all you can do after exam. Write UPSC again. It's fine. Write again in some other language. But right now, you have limited time. Limited time. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜೋಶ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ you will only realize that Josh also goes down, power also goes down. Things will happen. Are you people understanding? Right. So I hope why you are coming for UPSC preparation, because obviously you want to get the particular job. And it's not about the money. Someone was asking the other day in the class, right? It is it hardly gives 80,000, 90,000. Why you are why you have to choose? It's not about the money. It's about the power. Power to change people's life. Power to change your own family's life. Power to change literally everything. With money, only limited sphere of influence can happen. But with power, you may not have money. But with your power, many things can happen. If people understanding. So if you're choosing this, obviously do what is required for the exam, right? So one is obviously reading daily editorials. Speaking in English with your friends and classmates will definitely help you, especially in during your interview. Then you can read your self-help books, non-academics books. There are multiple books. One is for your own improvement. Second, non-academic books, when I tell any bureaucrat would have written, any MP would have written. Have you heard about Era of Darkness, Shashi Tharoor? Read this particular book. It's a wonderful book. Okay, it will really help you in your history. Era of Darkness by Shashi Tharoor. He's the MP of your Trivandrum. No, still the result is not announced, but he was the MP. Okay. Then maybe you can solve 2 comprehensions daily. If you do not understand any word, please make it note down. There are few key terminologies in in UPSC preparation. Throughout the journey you will find. That one maybe roughly 450 to 500 words are there. Write it down in a book. Understand it. Okay, after you have understood, leave that particular book. ಮತ್ತೆ revision alla ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. But a keyword nalli you have to be knowing it, right? And obviously there is a quote which I myself have invented. learning one word a day keeps fear of English away. You learn one word, one word into 365, 365 new words have, developed. Any day you are better than a person who has not learned anything, right? So let's directly start with the comprehension. Types of passages, which is right now, asked in your UPSC. One is definitely your, descriptive passages. Understand this. These descriptive passages are there now. These are like, very, very long essays, long comprehensions. Tumba jasti irte idralli. Okay. But a lot of data will also be given. Lot of data will also be given. So whenever an option will be given, no, connecting with the particular lines, you'll be able to decipher this. You'll be able to decipher this. Are you people understanding? So descriptive passages are the most easiest ones always. Time ತಗೋಬಹುದು ಓದೋದಕ್ಕೆ, but there is, guarantee that your question or your answer will be correct. Are you people understanding? So descriptive ones are always the easiest ones. Analytical, if you see analytical passages, no, they are like, come in the medium category. Some social theory, some political theory, they'll ask you some, related to your humanity. They'll ask you about some, particular, religion. They'll give this particular theory. They're not difficult ones. They're not difficult ones. They're in simple language, but a theory is given. Are people understanding? They're not difficult. Simple theory is given. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ that you have to get in here. Are people understanding? Yes. Last one is your hypothetical passages. So these are the passages which, actually going to kill you. These are all like, 2-liners, 3-liners, 4-liners, very, very small paragraph. But ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ it will take time. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಒಂದು, actually mean ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಂದು. ಆ mean ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಕೇಳೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. So ಇದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು it's, slightly difficult. So someone is, facing really difficulty, when you're doing your English passages, if you feel you're weak a little bit in English, then, I suggest you, out of these three, hypothetical, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸಣ್ಣ comprehensions ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ, it's better you leave those particular things, because accuracy rate over here is hardly 30 to 40%. Okay, out of 10 questions, maybe you get 3 correct or 4 correct. Okay, so if you feel confidence, then you can definitely, go for your hypothetical passages. Are you people understanding? Yes. So you can write down about these particular passages once, descriptive passages, so that you don't forget. Write down. Descriptive passages are the long ones. They are the long ones which have enough information and data. However, they're very long and consume time. But there are high chances of these comprehensions to be correct. Hence, make sure you are attending all the descriptive passages. And also with the longer, passage, no, it will not just come with one passage, one question. 2 questions it will come, 3 questions. 3 questions they have stopped asking now. 2 questions maximum. If your luck is bad, next attempt they'll make it into 1 question also. Okay. So if at all they want to make it difficult, obviously long competitive committee 1 question keltare. So you write down that they are easier ones, but 2 or 3 questions will be relatively asked. The questions will be direct, so no need to bang your head. I mean, you write however you want. Second one, and yeah, one more thing, just remember, whenever you do descriptive passages, no, you have to keep on underlining the things, or you keep on encircling the things. Otherwise, no, you will forget. Matmate, if a question, on the option is, you cannot go back again, because it's a very long passage. So there and there itself, you underline, and I'll show you how to underline, which are the keywords which will be changed. That and all I'll show you when doing it. Okay. So make sure in descriptive, you have to do it, right? So you write down that point also you write once. It is suggested that important points and notes are either encircled or underlined. Second, analytical passages. These are bit tricky ones. Oh yeah, no, there are like people who don't attend my class also. I have to go slow down. I thought it's a regular class. I'm going in my speed. You people are, accustomed to it, but people who are first time attending, they are not accustomed to my speed, right? So I'll go little slowly. These are bit tricky ones. If you aren't, or not a regular reader, you will find these comprehensions boring. These types of passages are mainly an analysis, of some type of political, scientific, social theory. Read them carefully, but they won't ask you much of detailed questions. These type of for the essays, you remember there is a word called crux. These type of for the comprehensions, which will actually tell you have to find the crux of it. So write down. They tell you to find the crux of the passage. So go through the key points, frame a basic idea, and you will sail through it. Last one are your hypothetical passages. These are the ones which are the toughest. These are the short and sweet ones. But the most dangerous ones. There is high possibility of a philosophical and fantasy based passage. Just believe what the author is saying. See, these type of ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they'll give you some, someone's opinion. They'll give you that particular passage. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ okay fine, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು actual reality it's a different thing ಅಂತ. But whatever is asked in the passage, you have to answer within that passage only. Don't go outside it, right? So write down, just believe what the author is saying, even if it is confusing or not true according to reality. These are the places where many people make the difficult mistakes. So in today's class we'll be dealing with two type of classification of essays. One is your analytical and one more is your descriptive passages. Okay, tomorrow today we are solving at least 30 passages. Tomorrow we'll solve only maybe 15 or 18 of them, but they all will be philosophical because it will take time to understand what it means to say, right? So we'll dedicate the whole class tomorrow only for the philosophical part. Is that fine? Yes. So today we'll do descriptive and analytical. So you remember the keywords which are asked in your comprehensions. So 5 types are majorly present. So you can write down about each one of them, keywords or directive words. So your job will be, understand first, your job will be to two things. One is identify which type of your analytical, descriptive or philosophical. First identify it. Second, according to the directive words, you have to answer it. Are you people understanding? It's a very important point, guys. I'll give you notes for it. Don't just make a list of the things. I'll give you notes for it. Wait for a second. Right. So what is your job? First, two things. One is identify your which type of essay, which type of comprehension it is, analytical or descriptive or philosophical. Once you identify it, which is the keyword they're asking. Are people understanding? This you have to do mentally. Obviously, you don't get time. Oh, idu descriptive, idu philosophical, adakala time iralla. Should be automatically in your brain. So the practice in the baradu, right? So you write down about inference. First, you write down about inference. Inference means a conclusion or opinion formed because of known facts or because of known facts or evidence present in the passage. Based on the information given, you have to draw a conclusion which may not be true outside the passage. Underline this, which may not be true. Second, assumption based comprehension. Based on the information given, you have to identify statements which can be assumed to be true here based on the passage. Based on the passage, you can go beyond the framework of the passage also. Beyond the framework of the passage also. You underline that. Third, crux. 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 Actually, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಕ್ರಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲೈಸ್ in your school and colleges and all you would have heard about it. It's also the same thing. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕಾಂಪ್ರಿಹೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಕ್ರಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರು ಅದೇನೆ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರು ಅದೇನೆ ಇನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರು ಅದೇನೆ actual ಆಗಿ in the practical world when you're speaking that means that only, but in UPSC there is a differentiation, right? So write down crux. Based on the information given, you have to identify statement that correctly summarizes key idea and problem. You have to identify statement that correctly summarizes key idea or problem. Underline the summarizes and key idea. Fourth, message. Based on the information given, look at the core argument or theme. You underline this core argument and theme. That is being communicated. That is being communicated. Also, sometimes try to grasp tone of the passage. Underline that tone of the passage. To deduce core messages. Fifth one, implication, implies or implication. Based on the information given, identify key connection between key arguments of the passage and options given. Underline key connection between argument and option. See, you have to read this at least, some 5-6 times, to become very much familiar with these particular words and all. In the span of 3 months, if you're able to do, people are giving this time prelims, obviously, try to read it just before you give a CSAT paper, right? It hardly takes a minute to read 5 points, right? So it hardly takes a minute before solving CSAT paper, at least go through it. You'll become very much familiar, right? So out of these five, no, if you consider, the easiest one is your assumption, because we are all good at making assumptions, no? Life ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು, assumptions only, everything we are doing. So very easy, even in passage it's very easy, right? And second very easy particular one is your implication, because you have to connect with a particular statement and the option, right? These two are the easiest ones. In the medium category, if you see, no, the message will be coming. The message is a medium category. Sometimes they are easy, sometimes they are difficult. But this inference and crux, majorly asked in your analytical and philosophical comprehension. First of all, they are difficult. Adralli crux inference keltare, right? So they are the ones, not difficult ones. Are you people understanding? So remember, what you have to target first? What you have to target first? Implication, assumptions. Then you have to go for message. Then you have to go for your inference. Then crux, right? So I think you all got your handouts, right? So all of you have got your handouts. Anyone has not got? Where was it then? Where you people took from? You took the printout and came, huh? I have only one copy which I'll not be using. So if anyone wants, I can give it to them. Especially with a particular person who is not sitting. No. Anyone who is behind? So remaining of you who all don't have, just raise your hands. What should we do then? It's not possible to obviously write it. How many of you just raise your hand? I just want to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 of them now, though, I don't think any shop will be open also. Now what to do? You suggest idea. Or do one thing, if a person is sitting with you, please share with them. Obviously, I'll share it with your, whoever number I have, or people who have, most of you have my number. So you just message me, I'll just, forward it, right? Whoever is not having the thing. But now if you're sitting, at least sit with a particular person who's having the comprehension, and you show your open heart and share with a particular person. So if both of you are sitting, sit with a particular person who is, either you can exchange the places. You people only. Both of you don't have. So obviously exchange the places with someone. Please share your comprehension that you have to do. Soft copy is there. What will you do with soft copy? Funny, come here. Come in the second bench. Anyone is not able to still, you have to sit with a particular person who is having it. Come here, madam. First bench. Please share with her. You can go to the second bench or something. You can go back. I don't know how you have to go. Who is still not having? You have, madam, last. If you don't have, you have to come forward. Now everyone is changing. Huh? Come with sit with the person who is having. Without comprehension, it's not possible. Without a hard copy. Now anyone is left out behind, just raise your hand. Or if you are sitting with together, obviously, make a place. One is there. Inna nivibrige? PDF. PDF, it's not possible. I'm sure of it. You have, sir. You have your copy. Your copy? One of you can actually come and sit with him. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸುನಿಲ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬರೋನ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಕಿರಣ್, ನಿನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆಯಾ? One of you can go behind with him. You both? Sikta. Is anyone who is left out behind? You need to have a physical copy, otherwise it becomes very difficult. You cannot do it in a PDF, you cannot do it online, you cannot, don't trust yourself that your memory is so strong. You are not like robot that will remember everything. You go back home and do it. Please. Is everyone having? Okay, so even you have. Okay, so let's directly move to your comprehension. The first one. So do with me only. Initial 3, 4 I will do. Now after that you can just follow. So you can see over here, the first one, in India, over the last decade or so, labor has been departing agriculture. Very key point. Very important key point. Labor has been departing agriculture, but is only giving way to construction and unregistered. Only is a very important word here. So you have to encircle whenever these words comes. Construction and unregistered manufacturing, which are not markedly better jobs. Services where labor tends to be the most productive are not generating services are not generating the additional jobs the country needs. India will need 24 million or so jobs over the next decade. The new sector, e-commerce, can at best close only half the jobs gap. Only those factors that drive domestic demand, such as health and education, can comfortably fill the other half. So, which of the following is best implied? Implication in the passage. What type of comprehension is this? Is it descriptive, analytical, or philosophical, or hypothetical? What is it? Is there any theory? Is there any philosophy? No, in my comprehension, it's just for 3, 4 because the space is more. But for you, it will be a little big only, right? Right. So obviously, it is a descriptive based comprehension, right? So you can see that options, strong measures need to be taken to reduce rural to urban migration in labor. Second, working condition in construction and manufacturing needs to be improved. Service sector has been reducing the problem of unemployment. Increased social sector spending is imperative for large scale job creation. So if you consider the first one, no, strong measures need to be taken to reduce rural to urban migration. What is the comprehension starts with? Labor has been departing agriculture. It nowhere talks about rural and urban, right? It is nowhere mentioned about in the whole comprehension. So the first option is definitely wrong. Definitely wrong, right? To consider working condition of construction and manufacturing needs to be improved. So in the second line, construction and manufacturing, which are not markedly better jobs. Then the services sector is mentioned, then e-commerce. So that is not the major implication, right? Just supporting information. Are people understanding? He's not the main hero of the comprehension here. It's just a supporting role. Yes or no? So B is also not your answer. Services sector has been reducing the problem of unemployment. So you can see here, services are not generating additional jobs. Here is a negative tone, but in the option what it is? The positive tone. Always remember options and comprehension, same tone irbekavaglu. Positive and positive, negative and negative, right? What is the last one then? Increase social sector spending is imperative for job creation. So if you consider the last line, it is given over here, only those sectors that drive domestic demand such as health and education, which is nothing but social sector, can comfortably fill the other half. Yes, very easy comprehension. Yes, yes or no? So make sure, however, I have underlined, the same way you have to do, but obviously in the exam hall, it will be at a very fast rate, right? Are you people understanding? Everyone? Enapa Sunil? Sunil and group? Udguru? Understanding? Yes? So next one will go. Did you people understand this? I'll change to the next comprehension. So see then, one of the biggest ironies, and one more thing, remember, whatever the comprehensions you're reading, no, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. These 5-6 years ka comprehensions you'll be reading it. So you're not reading old comprehensions which were very easy. So this is all PYQs only. And remember one thing, no one can create their own passage exactly like a replica of your UPSC. Okay, UPSC is UPSC comprehension only. So if you write some other places mock test and all, usually you find it's very difficult or very easy. Right, I think last Sunday there was a mock test. Many people you wrote, and you got very good marks in English comprehension, telling, "Oh, we are very ready for prelims now." You people are all happy. Please, it won't be like that in UPSC. It will be a bigger, much more tougher. Okay, people who wrote your one more mock, which only little bit of obviously cannot name anyone. So please understand. You people won't understand, but remaining people who are writing this time prelims, they'll understand. Although obviously it was very difficult. People are not even able to get about 10 in that particular comprehension. Right, so UPSC ತರ ಯಾರು match ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, so don't get bogged down by this, right? So next one of the biggest ironies, this ironies is an important word. Water is that it comes from rivers and other wetlands, yet it is seen as a divorced from them. While water is used as a resource, public policy does not always grasp that it is a part of natural ecosystem. Efforts at engineering water systems are thus efforts at augmenting water supply rather than strengthening the capacity of ecological system. So before we move to the options only, rather than, Andre, what is this word in English? When this rather comes, but, if, rather, instead of, when it comes, when you're telling about a particular thing, but it is not completely satisfied or it's not completely good, right? So it's a negative tone. Are you people understanding? Before we move to the options, now only I'm telling you, right? So let's see the most logical and rational inference. Rivers and other wetlands should be protected under Ramsar Convention. Engineering water systems should be modernized and further augmented. Wetlands need to be reinforced as more than just open sources of water. Water supply should not be free of cost so as to prevent its misuse or overuse. I'll give you 20 seconds. Do it. Done? 20 or 30 seconds ಆಯ್ತು. So how many of you think it's first option? Raise your hands. First option. Second option. Raise your hands. Third option. Fourth option. What, madam? You will mark 2, 2, huh? Okay, so majority of you are telling either 2 or 3. Let's see whether majority is correct or not. Rivers and other wetlands should be protected under Ramsar Convention. Anywhere mentioned in the passage? So it's the most obvious, it is the wrongest one, right? Engineering water system, since 2 and 3 were disputed, I'll come back to the last one. Water supply should not be free of cost so as to prevent its misuse or overuse. In its own, it's a correct statement, but it's nowhere mentioned in the passage. Yes or no? So obviously 1 and 4 is wrong. Coming to your B option, engineering water system should be modernized and further augmented. What did I tell in the starting of the passage only before we move to the option? It is in a negative tone, your engineering. Efforts at engineering water system are thus efforts at augmenting water supply rather than strengthening the ecological system. The whole theme of the essay is natural. You can see rivers, wetlands, natural, your ecological system. So it's majorly talking about natural purity of the water rather than any modern intervention. Are you people understanding? One is the tone is not like that. Second, rather than word is the itself in the negative tone, right? So B is also eliminated. Obviously, the answer is wetlands need to be reinforced as more than open sources of water. So one is elimination. Second, to cross verify. Can you see over here? Wetlands. It is mentioned, right? So answer is C. C is the answer. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೋತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಅಂತನಾ majority will go wrong. That's why only 15,000 people write mains. That's why. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಸುನಿಲ್ I can make out your voice only even if I'm not looking at it. Huh? So next one. So slightly bigger. People will invest in education whenever they are granted economic freedom to fully enjoy benefits. Again, this is for the obvious reason that the return on education increases the level of economic freedom. So there is a direct link between education and economic freedom. Education in the economic freedom sigutte. Economic freedom idre education till now they have not mentioned, right? So when people, thanks to lower tax rates are allowed to retain allowed to retain of the higher income they are gained from incremental level of education, it makes sense to invest. It makes sense to invest in education. On the other hand, when the government decides to tax higher income people, higher income of educated individuals at even higher rates, it makes very little sense to invest in education. The same incentives applies to parents who decide on whether to invest in their children's education or not. Slightly confusing? You got bored after 2 or 3 lines, right? What type of comprehension is this? What type of comprehension is this? Is it hypothetical or philosophical? No, right? Is it descriptive? Where is the information you have? There is only two information: tax rate, education, or economy. Adre suttane they are playing with the words. So what is it? It's an analytical passage, okay? Analytical passage where you have to get the relation between your economic freedom and education. With reference to the above passage, following assumptions have been made, which you people are good at. So since I've told it's very easy, I'll read out the options, then you do it. Lower tax rate in a country is invariably translate into greater investment in higher education. Investment in the education of children ensures economic freedom. Economic freedom is a positive impact on building of human capital. You solve, I'll give you 30 seconds. You have to do it, guys. If you're not at all writing in your comprehension, it becomes very difficult. Mark it, write it. Otherwise, you cannot get the answer. You wrote and came everything. Huh? Aste. How can you write 23 passages? Got the answer? Yes? How many of you think assumption option number A is correct? One only? Two only? Two only? Raise your hands. Three only? All the, again, majority. Huh? So if you consider your, which is the most obvious, which is wrong, which I told after your second statement only. Education in the economic freedom sigute vartu, economic freedom in the education sigalla. There is no vice versa. Real sense al irbodu. Real sense al irbodu, not in the passage. Okay. So it is telling economic freedom will have an impact on building human capital. So economy will have an impact on education. Is it correct? No, right? It's one of the easiest options which is wrong. Telling in the second one only, right? So 3 is eliminated means you're already left out with 1 only and 2 only. So in this, lower tax rates in the country invariably translate into greater investment in higher education. Investment in education ensures economic freedom. Ensures economic freedom. Investment in education. You would have heard about those people who give 1 crore rupee, 2 crore rupee in the medical seat and all. Are they good doctors? No, nothing offense to management quota. I'm just telling. Will they become good doctors? So investment in your education, will it ensure anytime economic freedom in real sense? First of all, it won't. And this key word is ensures. It is telling 100% it will happen. See, remember, as I always tell, there is nothing white or black. It's always gray. Whenever such words, they're all extreme words. Extreme words are 100% wrong in UPSC. For people understanding, ensure is a very extreme word. You can write down ensure is an extreme word. So obviously 2 is eliminated means what is the option? 1, where hardly I think 5 of them raise the hand. So by solving 3 passages, you would have understood by now. People who are not good in English, you are also on the same boat. People who are showing off are very good in English, you are also on the same boat, right? ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇನು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ನಾಳೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ ಎಸೆಸ್, philosophical comprehensions. So shall I move to the next one? Yes. So fourth one, slightly big essay, big comprehension. Private investment in general is volatile. Very important line. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಗ್ನೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ is always the important line. It may be in prelims, it may be mains. It is not given for you to fill the words. You people fill the words to increase your answer, but they fill the words to give a very important information. So private investment in general is volatile. Very important. Foreign private investment is more volatile because available investment avenues are significantly greater. Available investment is the entire world. Therefore, responsibility of providing employment cannot be left to FDI. So FDI ene bandruno it will be a negative tone, right? Cannot be left to FDI. Current FDI inflows are volatile over time and across sectors and regions, which is a necessary consequence of the search for the highest return. The adverse consequences are unstable employment and accentuation of income and regional inequalities. A probable positive consequence of this is a very important word. Consequence of your foreign investment is inflow of new technology and its subsequent diffusion. However, very important again, the technology diffusion is not at all certain because existing state of physical and human capital may prove inadequate for the diffusion. Slightly little complicated, but what type of essay comprehension is this? Is it analytical or descriptive? It's analytical or descriptive? It's a descriptive based comprehension. Okay, enough information is given over there. With reference to the above passage, again, what are the assumptions to be made? Relying on foreign investment in the long run is not an economically sound policy. See, first they spoke about it's a negative tone, then they came back to positive tone, probable positive. Again, however, word used a negative tone. Remember this about FDI, foreign investment, right? Second, policies must be undertaken to reduce volatility in foreign private investment. Policies must be undertaken to strengthen domestic private investment. Domestic private investment. Public investment should be given priority over private investment. Substantial public investment in education and health should be undertaken. So here, apart from the comprehension, two things we should be very familiar is what is public investment, what is the private investment. Without understanding this, it's like public private is same anta. Okay, so what is public investment? It is supported by the government. Supported by the government, sometimes during budgetary or because of debts. Private investment means an individual or a private entity or a company or a foreign investment is coming. Right? Two things is clear, right? And what is one more important rule here? In the domestic policies, government has the right to make the rule. But in India, where it is a liberalized economy, we don't control how much foreign investment is coming. Sectors are obviously there is a cap, but we don't interfere over there. Are people understanding? Basics. After understanding the basics, go to your assumptions. Since you people are, I think polity is over and my class, science and tech is over. After that, still economy has to be made. That's why I gave you a reference. So do it. I'll give you 40 seconds. ಏನ್ ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 20 30 40 ಅನ್ಕೋತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಪ್ಯಾಸೇಜ್ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, many of you, apart from people who attend regularly class, you people are not will be familiar with 8 o'clock, 8:30. So still I can make out. People have come now, sleepy eyes, yawning. Always have a 11 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. 8 o'clock you are feeling very sleepy. Done? Done everyone? Yes? How many of you think option A is the answer? Raise your hands. Option A. Option B. Option B. Okay. Option C. Option D. ಇನ್ ಮಿಗ್ದವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನೋಟಾಗ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ದೀರೇನು? ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರೇನು ಇದನ್ನ? You have to attend, no? You cannot like, I will not raise for anything. Arey, no one is going to judge you. All of you are in the same boat. You would have realized by now. So again, I'm asking, how many of you say option A? Option B? Option C? Option D? The majority of you are saying option C. Okay, so first one, relying on foreign investment in the long run is not an economically sound policy. The whole tone of the essay is, criticizing your foreign investment only. And it's telling you economy can go this, go that, probable profit is there. They're telling that. So obviously the easiest option to choose is option A. Option A is 100% correct. So option A is correct. C and D is eliminated. You don't even have to, where it went? You don't even have to do your, thing. So 1 and A or B is the answer. 1 is the easiest option you can choose. Now coming to this, either of the things you have to choose. So you see this, policies must be undertaken to reduce volatility in foreign private investment. Must be undertaken. 1 is the extreme statement and is giving the probability. Anywhere it is mentioned about it? And second, going to the basics, what did I tell you? Government cannot interfere in private. It cannot regulate over there, right? Are you people understanding? Yes. So second is wrong. Ad madidre eliminate madidre, you will get the answer. But just let's see again. Policies must be undertaken to strengthen domestic private investment. The whole thing is talking about, negative tone of your foreign. Obviously, that means it is domestic you have to strengthen, right? So that's why option 3 is correct. Public investment should be given priority over private investment. Given priority. What type of word is this? Tone is this? It's extreme statement. It's extreme statement, right? Again, no extreme statement should be given like that. If extreme statement is coming, it's a wrong answer. Yes or no? Yes. So that's why your fourth is, that is the easiest option to actually eliminate after your first. So substantial public investment in education and health should be undertaken. Is this correct? Anywhere about your education and health is mentioned? Huh? See the last line. Technology diffusion is not at all certain because existing state of physical and human capital in India may prove inadequate for the diffusion. So if you're taking step for the investment in education and health, it will automatically improve the investments, right? So answer is what then? 1, 3 and 5. People who raised B, correct. Learn it in the exam hall. Okay. You can do all the mistakes in the, you can do all the mistakes in the classroom, but don't do mistakes in the exam hall, right? This is one of the, medium category questions which is asked. Okay. And, majority of you are not comfortable with this. Why means? Because you interconnected things. I told, no, assumptions. Assumptions. So, shall we move to the next one? But if at all you have gone wrong, write the reason why that statement is wrong. Okay, when you come back and revise, you should know why that statement was wrong. Are you people understanding? So next one, fifth one. This is asked in your 2021 prelims. So do it. I'll give you 2 minutes, the same time required for solving a passage. Do it by yourself. This is the fifth passage. I think you can do it now. Then I will do it. Underline, encircle. ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ತಾನೇ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿರೋದು. ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಂದ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರ ಅದನ್ನ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. Done? Yes, done. So I'll read the comprehension. First, tell how many of you got A as correct answer. A. B. C. D. So disputed about 25% is going. I thought it's an easier one. Okay. So Spanish ships in the late 16th century first brought the potato tuber from South America to Europe, whereby in the early 19th century it had become a reliable backup to cereal crops, particularly in the cold, rain-soaked soils of Ireland. The Irish were soon almost wholly dependent. It's extreme word. Whenever extreme word, like the will change the entire course. Wholly dependent on the potato as the staple food, and they were primarily planting one prodigious variety, the lumper potato, whose genetic fragility would be cruelly exposed by some fungus. In 1845, spores of the deadly fungus began spreading across the country, destroying nearly all the lumpers in the path, resulting famine killed or displaced millions. It started with a particular technology or a new thing, then the course happened, then it went to a very disaster. So starting in the good in the bad hoitu, worse hoitu, right? So the whole thing is in a negative tone. So let's see. Which of the following best reflects critical message? It's not just a message, critical message. What do you understand by critical? Considering the negative points, what is the message? Okay. So for introducing any foreign plant into a country, soil and climate conditions of that country should be suitable. Okay, you connected with your, somewhere rain-soaked soil and cold thing. That's just the two words of it. Okay, that is not the whole tone of the passage, right? So let's read the remaining options also. As a staple food of the country, tuber crops like potato cannot replace cereal crops. One, it is an extreme statement, cannot replace. Second, it is the whole thing is not at all about potato tuber. It is about a foreign plant which came inside and it made a disaster. It is not about potato tuber. I hope you get it, right? So Beto is definitely eliminated, including the first one also can eliminate. Okay. Some or the fungal infection or the plants cannot be prevented or stopped from spreading large areas. Extreme statement. Is it extreme statement? Technology obviously will some or the other day will come, right? So again, this is the easiest one, eliminated. Relying on a homogeneous food source is not desirable. Homogeneous and a single crop is not desirable, which is because the whole tone of the thing is there, right? So answer is option D. I can see in your faces that disappointment. Arey yaar, kya kar rahe hum? I thought I got 98 in English in my 10th and 12th. I was showing off with my classmates and English ಹಿಂಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದೆ and ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ದಬಾಕೋತಿದೀವಿ. I can see that disappointment on your face. It's fine. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ you might feel all this, but learn by every passage. Okay. No one, there's a saying, right? No one became a Picasso in one day. Right? No one became a perfect photographer. It takes 10,000 photographs to become the best photographer. It takes at least 1,000 answers to pass UPSC. Same way, you just started with it. Maybe in the coming course of year, when you solve at least 100 to 150 comprehension, you just have to do PVQ. Don't go anywhere else. If you're able to do it, 100% you'll get the grasp of it. But are you understanding how to think, how to connect? Are you people understanding? Yes. Ivatin dina, just one before we continue, you go home, again see the comprehensions and think why it went wrong. Ivatin dina, you do this homework and come, no, tomorrow it will be very easy. Okay. Tomorrow is a complete set of philosophical. Idella basics you should be strong. Adidre mata philosophical, at least you can get 40% accuracy. Illa andre, out of 10, no one might be correct. Okay. So next one. Do this. Do by yourself. I'll give you 2 minutes. Again, assumptions. How many of you are writing prelims this time? This prelims? Wait till 10 passages. You feeling okay, fine, I know everything, no? 10 passages you wait. After that, real passages will come. Then you have to work. So, in India, authorities always, in India, always look to store maximum amount of water in reservoirs during the monsoon, which is then used for irrigation and generation of electricity during the summer months. It is an internationally accepted practice that the water level of reservoir should be kept below. Internationally accepted water level should be kept below before the onset of monsoon. This is so that when monsoon rain comes, there is space to store excess rainwater, and also water can be released in a regulated manner. But the authorities store maximum water in reservoir even before the close of monsoon only to ensure greater electricity or irrigation. So how many of you tell option A is the answer? 1 and 2? Option B? Option C? He raises his hand. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ that no one is raising. क्या कर रहा हूँ? Option D? Option D, raise your hands. Okay, good. So, high risk involved in holding maximum water reservoirs are due to over dependence on hydropower projects. Over dependent on hydropower projects. So, you can see here greater electricity irrigation. One is correct. There's a direct reference to it. Yes or no? You don't have to assume, there's a direct reference over there. So, option A is correct. Storage capacity of dams should not be fully used before or during monsoon. The whole passage is about that only, right? It's about that only. So, option 2 is also correct. Role of dams in flood control is underestimated in India. So, it is telling, so if you see the passage now, maximum amount of water during the monsoon, which is used for irrigation and electricity. It is an internationally accepted, it should be kept below and space to store excess rainwater released in regulated manner. So released in regulated manner, first point. But the authorities store maximum water even before close of the monsoon only to ensure greater electricity. So the focus of your dams is on electricity and irrigation. 2 times it is mentioned. But floods, even though it can be used, it is nowhere, the authorities are doing it. So it means what? What can you assume by it? It is underestimated only, right? So third statement is also correct. The answer is 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Storage capacity should not be fully utilized before or during monsoon. So if you see over here, the whole theme ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ? One is they are storing maximum of water during monsoon. First statement ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ, right ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Then they are telling it is used for irrigation and electricity during the summer months. Internationally accepted water level should be kept below. This is so when monsoon rain comes, there is space to store excess rainwater. Can you see this statement? Space to store excess rainwater. Storage capacity should not be fully utilized before or during monsoon because excess water na store ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು. Store ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? During summer or before monsoon, it should not be completely filled. That is what it says, right? Yes or no? Hmm. Hmm. Extreme in terms of theory, generalistic, economy, political, extreme andre full. Illi just about, that particular statement aste, that particular, event or, that particular element aste. It's not extreme statement. Okay. ಯಾಕೆ ಬರಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? 1:30 ಆಗೋಲ್ಡೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. New admission. Anyway, I don't know how much you will understand because basics is over. Come sit. You have to sit with a particular person who is having the sheet. You cannot sit alone. ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆ? ಕಿರಣ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸುನಿಲ್ ಜೊತೆ. Go sit with him only, Kiran. See, if I tell it, sir, you will laugh. How did you introduce in WhatsApp? Namaste, sir. Nan Dod Sunil. You only did know. You only did know. So next one. By the way, what type of comprehension was that previous one? Monsoon wala. Descriptive or analytical? It was purely descriptive. Okay. Know the difference, how to identify. Next one. Okay, this is very easy. I'll give you a minute only. Very easy. And yeah, please read it in your mind. Don't read loudly. If you make the habit now, even the exam also it will be happen the same. Don't do that. Done? Bank credit to industrial sector has started shrinking. Its decline has been a serious concern as credit growth is essential to revive investment. The problem's origin lie in the incomplete reforms. Incomplete reforms in the last 25 years, institutional change that should have followed the 1991 reform should have been setting up a resolution corporation for banks. In a market economy with booms and busts, banks should be allowed to be set up and fail. Should be allowed to set up and fail. Today, we cannot shut down banks because there is no proper system to shut down them. Weak loss-making banks continue to need more capital. Okay, how many of you say option A? B? C, D. Okay, at least one question, majority of you got correct. So, logical and rational inference from the passage. Indian banking system is not able to help the country in its economic growth. Wrong statement, extreme statement, yes or no? And understand the tone of the essay, tone of the comprehension. First, they are telling bank credit banks is a problem, but then they are telling you cannot shut them down. They are very much essential. So once you started with a negative tone, but then they are telling you cannot completely eliminate it, right? This banking is not a core issue. Banks are not the core problem in the whole comprehension. Ways to improve them we need. Are you people understanding? So first of the tone and ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Economic reforms that started in 1991 not helped in improving economy to expected level, not helped in improving economy. So if you see your origin lies in the incompleted reforms for the last 25 years, institutional should have been followed in 1995, should have been setting up of a resolution corporation. We'll take a pause and we'll come back to this. Then if you see the option number D, encouraging foreign investment in industrial goods sector is good alternative. Anywhere mentioned? Purely about domestic banks, right? Yes or no? Eliminated. India lacks institutional mechanism to deal with the failure of banks. So see, it starts with your, institutional change. Then it talks about a proper system. It talks about resolution corporation for the banks. Yes or no? Yes. So everywhere institution. So what is the more suitable answer? I will not tell this is completely wrong, but which is more suitable among the two? Option number C. Option C. One thing which majority of you got correct. Happy. After 7 comprehensions. Next one. Okay, this is slightly tricky. It's analytical comprehension. As again I told you, never ignore the first statement. Sometimes answers lies in the first statement. You need to go today. Go now. Then leave. Okay, you can give it to him. I'll take it from him directly. We have hardly 15 minutes, huh? How come, guys? With you, I won't get to know the time only. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು instead of telling someone else. ಏನೋ ಪರಿವಣ್ಣ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇರಿ ಸರ್, ಹೆಸರು ತಗೋಬೇಡಿ, ಹೆಸರು ಹಾಳಾಗಿದೆ. Done? So, India has tremendous potential for solar energy. We all realize that we have to stop burning fuels to meet our energy needs. But certain renewable resources are still going. renewable resources are still going through cost curves and learning curves to get the required amount of output. Indian government is strongly committed to its target of reducing emissions by 33% by 2030, and towards this, it has initiated strong push towards a gas-based economy and has also invested heavily in renewable energy. However, business houses are wary of investing too heavily in renewable energy at a time when technology is not yet ready. Which among the following is logical and rational inference that can be made from the passage? How many of you say A? And you wanted to raise, no? B, C, D. So it's a dispute between C and D. Okay, let's see. India's commitment to reduce emissions is unlikely to be achieved. Strongly committed, strong push. You can see these words. Obviously, that statement is very easy to eliminate. Can it be eliminated? Yes. Then India should import gas rather than invest in renewable resources. The whole thing is talking about renewable energy, and gas-based economy just a part of it. It's not the major hero, right? So B is also eliminated. So getting renewable energy resources in the market too soon may be costly. Last one, India should put in more efforts to exploration of natural gas. So gas-based economy is just one part. Okay, it's one part. If you see renewable resources, it starts with solar energy first. That's why I told first sentence is very important. Solar energy. If it was only renewable energy and only gas based, which is natural gas, is also nothing but till now we have a lot of it. Yes, methane, all this particular, we have a lot of it. Maybe it would have been disputed. Okay, but getting renewable energy to the market may be costly. You see, this statement, is not yet ready. Is going to cost curves, learning curves. These are the things which will actually indicate about, business are, where to invest. Your government is also finding difficulty. But the last option, if you see, exploration of natural gas, more effort. What will happen to the remaining? In the your comprehension only solar is mentioned first. And second, I think you are aware, we have solar, we have wind, we have, your what do you call tidal, different forms of energy, right? So by knowing the knowledge also, it is a wrong answer, right? So answer is C. Very easy. ಏನ್ ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಈಸಿ ಅಂತೀರಾ? ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಮ್ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? So next one. Next one. Okay, this is a philosophical base. Tomorrow we'll actually discuss. That's the trailer of this. Okay, trailer you will see now. So what is the philosophical based on that? Let's see how many of you will get it correct. ಏನ್ ಸುನಿಲ್ ಟಿ-ಶರ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿ ಬ್ರೇವ್, ಬ್ರೋಸ್. ಹೋಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ನ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ನೀನು. Good. It hardly takes time, but to get the essence of it, it will actually, kills your time. ಓದೋದೇ ಏನು ಅಷ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. This is which one? Ninth one. Still 14 we have to solve. Done? Yes? ಏನಪ್ಪ ರೇವಣ್ಣ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ಯಾ? So I'll read the comprehension after asking you people answer. How many of you think A? Option number A. Option A. Option B. C. D. That's why I tell philosophical essay skills. Okay, you will understand why. The very first lesson that should be taught to us, we are when we are enough to understand, is that complete freedom from obligation to work is unnatural and ought to be illegal, as we can escape our share of burden of work only by throwing on someone else's shoulder. Nature ordains the human race shall perish of famine if it stops working. We cannot escape this tyranny. The question we have to settle is how much leisure we can afford to allow ourselves. Everywhere, with the whole tone is saying that, work is so much important, right? It is telling that we cannot escape work. It's the rule of the law, right? So, since none of you raised your answer of option number A, I'll discuss little after a while. There should be a balance between work and leisure. What is the key passage? Main idea of the passage. Is the main idea we have to maintain work, leisure and balance? Is it the main idea? What is it? It's just a supporting actor only coming in the last climax. The major ideally, you cannot work, you cannot leave working antane iradu tane. So it is not the right answer. B is eliminated, which majority raise your hands for. Working is a tyranny which we have to face. The direct statement coming from that. But is it the main idea? Understand the keyword. This is why directives becomes important. Assumption in this would have been a possibility. But here main idea is talking. It's just a keyword, right? Somewhere it is mentioned about tyranny. Here, we cannot escape this tyranny. Just mention once. Not. Humans' understanding of the nature of the work is essential. Nature of the work. Is there any different types of work? Is there anything with respect to characteristic of the work? Is there any kind of the work mentioned anywhere? Nowhere mentioned in the passage, right? The whole idea essential for human beings to work. This is what I'm telling, right? It is what is mentioned in the passage, where none of you raise your hands for option number A. Answer is option number A, right? Are people understanding? So philosophical one trailer. Trailer in the name. Come back to analytical. So tomorrow I'll teach you what are the tricks required. There are few tricks whenever philosophical things comes. ಆ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಡೂ however you are doing your analytical and descriptive passages, right? So next one, read it, 10th passage. The remaining people who are told they don't have the PDF, like people who are associated with other batches of Rajkumar Academy, you have to ask them. Ask either your friends in this batch, make someone as your friend, or you ask them. The remaining people, who are coming, maybe we can share or something with that. Okay, so you get the PDF beforehand itself, before coming. It's required tomorrow. ನಾಳೆ ಅಂತೂ ಅದು ಬರ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್. What, madam, you want to become IPS, huh? IPS, IRS, any uniform service, any technical service? You're not even eligible. Otherwise, you have to completely remove it. That's the only way available to you. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಏನು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್? A slightly tricky one. Done? Done? We are witnessing dangerous dwindling of biodiversity in our food supply. The green revolution is a mixed blessing. Very, very important word. Mixed blessing. That is neither it's completely bad nor it's completely good. Remember it. Okay. Over time, farmers have become to rely heavily on broadly adapted high yield crops to the exclusion of varieties adapted to the local conditions. Monocropping, vast fields with the same genetically uniform seeds, helps boost yield and meet immediate hunger needs. Yet, high yield varieties are also genetically weaker crops. Yet is an important word here, that require expensive chemical fertilizers and toxic pesticides. In our focus on increasing the amount of food we produce today, we have accidentally put ourselves at the risk of food shortages in the future. Most logical and critical inference. Inference, right? So, how many of you say option A? ಏನ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಒಂದೊಂದು ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ನನ್ನ ಇಮೋಷನ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ರೇಸ್. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ, ಸಿ, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ. So in our agriculture practices, we have heavily dependent on expensive chemicals and toxic pesticides only due to green revolution. Is it only due to green revolution? Extreme statement. Monocropping vast fields with high yield varieties is possible due to green revolution. Okay, there is mentioned, enough evidence is there. Let us keep it aside. Let's not come to a conclusion. Monocropping with high yield varieties is the only way to ensure food security to millions. Extreme statement? Yes. Green revolution can pose a threat to biodiversity in food supply and food security in the long run. Long run is a very important word here, in the future possibility. So it starts with, let's connect with these two options which is remaining. Mixed blessing. Mixed blessing is a word which is linked to B or D. D. Whichever is the highest number, we are going to mark it. Then there is, rely heavily on high yield crops. High yield crops is linked to what? Option number B. Exclusion of varieties to the local varieties. So, yeah, one more thing. Dwindling of biodiversity in a food supply. Again, directly linked. Yes, D. Then monocropping, same genetically uniform seeds have boosted yield and immediate hunger needs. Hunger needs is an important word which is linked to B or D. B or D? It is D. Okay. Yet high yield varieties are genetically weaker, require expensive chemicals. In our focusing increasing amount of food we produce today, we have accidentally put ourselves at food shortages in future, long run. So how many are matching now? D. Four statements are matching D. Only one is matching B. So answer is definitely D. Okay, answer is D. You have to connect with it, okay? You have to connect. Whenever you're stuck with two options, always see whichever statements are making the highest probability. Then you mark that particular answer, right? Next one. Okay. Slightly analytical. Okay, analytical. Whenever this political theory comes, no, be very careful. Not just in CSAT, even in your GS also, be very careful. Because sometimes, no, political theory, naven artha madkondirthivi, there are multiple variations. You tell I'm strong in polity, but the marks will not showcase that particular thing, right? So don't be overconfident in polity. Majority of you people, when you learn polity, 100% polity will be remain your favorite subject, and you will portray you're very overconfident about it. But in your, in your GS also, they'll ask you philosophical based polity only, right? So this is one among them which is present in your CSAT also. So be very careful. For just one information for that, for those people, majority of you are going to make it wrong in your GS also. So what you do is NCERT 11th standard, have you seen? Constitution at Work. There's a book called Constitution at Work. Year ಪೂರ್ತಿ book ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ definitions ಇದೆ. Definitions of what is republic, definition of what is democracy, definition of what is sovereignty. Proper definition ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು there are 3 or 4 statements which is linked to the definition. So either you mark it like that in the book and then revise, or you do a little bit extra effort and spend 1 hour in writing everything. If you write everything, hardly 3 to 4 pages the notes will be. That you keep on revising. You keep on revising, no, every year, especially from 2018, no, every year they're asking 2 questions from your political theory. Okay, theory means that only. What does republic means? What is democracy means? Not what you have understood. In your constitution, what it means. Okay, ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇರೆ, but in the wordings. Are people understanding? So that is the way to get those questions wrong. I mean, get those questions right. So if you have to do that extra work and get it done. Obviously, Lakshmikant, you cannot expect that this and all will be there. Basic NCERT adu. 2 questions are like confirmed every year. They just ask you definitions. By the way, what is the meaning of fraternity, which is mentioned in the constitution? No? What is the meaning of it? So in optional brotherhood, what will you mark then? Huh? Sense of belonging. Okay. Then any other? Brotherhood, sense of belonging. Any other your interpretation of fraternity? Building oneself. Where did you find that? Okay. Then anything else? No one knows, huh? Just remember, this is one of the probable, those people who are giving your prelims this time. This is one of the probable questions of, your prelims. Fraternity has its origin. There was a political thinker, okay? He gave this particular origin when, there was a unification of Italy and Germany, okay, in your 17th and 18th century. That was the time fraternity was introduced. What fraternity means? What fraternity means is, you can have your own creed, you can have your own religion, you can have your own, language, everything you can have. But within that particular framework, right? Within that particular framework, and within that particular framework, you have to live together as a united team. Okay. Why it is important means Methi crisis has happened, no? Manipur crisis has happened, right? Methis gone cookies. So, Supreme Court mentioned this particular word, that fraternity is, is a part of your basic structure. Okay. So you have to remain in that particular framework and you're a united team. You can have whatever differences you have within that particular framework, not beyond it. Are people understanding? Brotherhood is a very simple meaning, but what it means is not breaking the unity and, remaining within the framework. That is the meaning. Okay. So Supreme Court has given that particular explanation over there in the judgment also. Remember these words. Brotherhood alla kedala. Brotherhood is for your explanation vaskara usually class ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, or Lakshmikant has mentioned it, but it is nowhere mentioned either in the constitution. Obviously, brotherhood is a not so good parliamentary language. Obviously, they will not mention in constitution. Remember that people are giving prelims. Okay, Manipur crisis it is mentioned. Is it over? Everyone? Over? So Is anyone still doing? Quickly do it. How many of you say option number A? Option number A. B. Option number B. C. D. Okay. So human societies experiment with different forms of government. Different forms of government. Okay, I'll read it. Aristocratic government ruins itself by limiting too narrowly the circle within which the power is confined. Oligarchy ruins itself by incautious scramble for immediate wealth, but even democracy ruins itself by excess of democracy. Its basic principle is the equal right of all to hold office and determine public policy. This, at first glance, a delightful arrangement becomes disastrous because the people are not properly equipped by education to select the best rulers and wisest courses. The people have no understanding and only repeat what their rulers are pleased to tell them. Such a democracy is tyranny or autocracy. Okay, told by your Plato. So, what is the crux of it? Important keyword. What is the meaning of crux? Hmm? What is the crux? Key idea, right? Key idea of the passage. So here, first it introduces with the three types of, different governments. Then it comes back to democracy. Remember this. That is the tone of your passage, right? So human societies experiment with different forms of government. Is it the core idea? There's a proper definition for everything, right? There's a proper explanation. Yes or no? So A is not the answer. Any form of government tends to deteriorate by excess of its basic principle. Now, some of you can argue how there are only three types of government is mentioned. How are you telling any form of government? Yes, you people can argue this. So let's keep B as one option pending. Education of all citizens ensures perfect, functional, and sustained democracy. Can it ensure? In reality, also cannot ensure, and it's an extreme statement. C is eliminated. Having a government is necessary evil because tyranny is inherent in any form of government. See, now you have to understand. One, the B option is talking about any form of government. This is also any form of government. So whatever that extreme element you are adding, no, it is mentioned in both. If at all it was not mentioned here, if at all it was not mentioned here, D would have been the answer. But the extreme element is both. That is eliminated. You cannot use that logic now. So you're left out between B and D. Yes or no? Here it is given having a government is a necessary evil because tyranny is inherent in any form of government. The whole passage ಅಲ್ಲಿ, where is tyranny mentioned? Such a democracy is tyranny or autocracy. So first introduction about three government is given and telling that it is ruining itself by this and this reason. Then democracy is majorly spoken about and democracy is becoming the tyranny. But nowhere mention about tyranny in the remaining two form of government. Are you people understanding? Yes or no? So D is eliminated. Answer is any form of government deteriorates by excess of its basic principle. Right? Did you understand? Those of you got wrong this particular statement, especially if you had marked, option number D. I think you have got the clarity, right? A and C is a direct elimination. Okay. So that's very simple elimination. You don't have to think much. Next one. Next one, which is this 12th. Is it 12th? This was asked in your 2022. This is your descriptive type of passage. Most of your information is given. So you should get it correct. And just one reminder, those people who are attending KPSC also, just one reminder. See, always central and state, the syllabus agirbodu, the pattern agirbodu is always a replication. Okay. So I hope you know that, till 2020-21, CSAT was slightly in a medium level. 22-23, it will become very difficult. Your UPSC exam, your KPSC exam was itself conducted in 2020 prelims. So that time, initially also when it was introduced, it was very easy that time, KPSC, okay. 2020 UPSC is also easy. And similarly, obviously, KPSC paper also was easy. This time it's been 4 years and there has been 3 years of UPSC tough years. Okay. So according to my speculation in KPSC, the number will be increasing of your comprehension and CSAT will be increased from 30 to at least 40 to 45. Okay. And whatever, they are getting the pattern. You would have observed people who have written your PSI exam, before Munchintara factual, your, static, they're not asking now. There also statement analysis questions are coming. Okay, if PSI is doing it, obviously KPS is a constitutional body and they are mandated to follow whatever the central commission is also doing it. So even in your KPSA, you can expect tough CSAT and altogether comprehensions also. Are you people understanding? So make sure you're prepared. ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಒಂದೇ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಮೂವತ್ತು ಈಸಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್, ಏನು CSAT ನಾನು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ KPSC ಅಂತ. According to the speculation, this time it will be tough. So obviously the overall cutoff will be reducing, because obviously not everyone will be preparing CSAT in a very serious way. So overall cutoff will also decrease. What happened this year in 2023? Cutoff from 87 it reduced to 75 in UPSC, right? Similar kind of reduction can happen even in your KPSC. So now only be aware of it. If at all it happens in July, be prepared now only. Okay. If it again postpones, then it's another story. But I'm telling you, okay, other people, everyone will be having a shock only that day. But if you are preparing, obviously you'll have a better edge. Are you people understanding? So tell me, how many of you tell option A? Option A. Option B. Option C. Option D. Okay. So let's quickly read it. India faces a challenging immediate future in energy and climate policy making. The problems are multiple: sputtering fossil fuel production capability, limiting access to electricity, modern cooking fuel for the poorest. So fuel production capability, limited access to electricity, cooking fuel for the poorest, rising fuel imports in an unstable global economy, continued electricity pricing, governance challenges leading to its costly deficits and surplus supply, and not last, growing environmental congestion. The environment is just the last part of it. Remember it? Okay, remember, the environment is just the last part of it. One among several. Congestion around land, water, and air. But all is not bleak. So this is telling it started with a negative tone, then it's coming to a positive tone, right? Growing energy efficiency programs, integrated urbanization, transport policy discussions, enhancing energy access and security, bold renewable energy initiatives, even if not fully conceptualized, suggest promise of transformation. So that's our ending in a very good way, in a very positive way, right? So India's, so one thing what is common among here, we mentioned about fossil fuels, we talk about, global economy, we mentioned about electricity, we mentioned about cooking fuel, imports, environment, land, water, multiple sectors. Are you understanding? There are multiple sectors here. So India's energy decision making process is even more complex and interconnected. Interconnected means there should be several elements. So let's see this option A, since many of you gave for the B and C, let's see. India's energy and climate policy is heavily tuned to sustainable development goals. What are the sustainable development goals? First of all, it's not mentioned, but what is it generally? Is it about water supply? It is about, sanitation, rights for the woman, climate change, rights on land. Yes or no? Yes. There is no aspect of, governance or economy in sustainable development goals. It's a complete social factor. Yes or no? But if you see this word, global energy context, fuel import, electricity pricing, governance. These are the different elements apart from social, right? Yes or no? So is it tuned to the only your what you call sustainable development goals? No, right? It's just one among them. Social sector is just one among them. So B is definitely eliminated. Then India's energy and climate actions are not compatible with social, economic, and environmental goals. Is it in mention that modern cooking fuel for the poorest, fuel production capability, limited access to electricity, rising fuel has to be, taken care of? It is mentioned, right? So you cannot tell that, our energy policy is not compatible with the broader social economic, and it's the extreme word also. Yes or no? BC is eliminated. India's energy decision making is straightforward, supply oriented, and ignores demand side. So if you see, one where complex, straightforward, the exact opposite thing. So you have to do is whether it's complex or straightforward. Is it straightforward? First element, is it straightforward? Multiple sectors are there. You have to balance everything. That itself makes it complicated, right? Second, supply oriented and ignores demand. Ignoring demand. This is an extreme statement, right? Extreme statement plus opposite. So answer is what? A is the answer. ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರ ಏನಪ್ಪ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು? ಏನಿನ ಹೆಸರು? ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್, ಓಂ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್. ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ? ಸುನಿಲ್ ಅವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ರೇಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಬಿಗೇಮ್ ಫುಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. Do the next one. I hope you are understanding what is going wrong, how to think. I hope you are understanding everyone, right? The small one, easy one. 15th. 15th or 13th idu? 13th. Be little quick. We'll try to finish everything. There are, I think, 23 passages. So we'll try to finish everything. Be quick. We have 25 minutes and roughly 9 to 10. Written? Done? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಆನ್ಸರ್? ನೀನ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋಗೂ ಇದೆ ಆನ್ಸರಾ? you don't have to solve, you don't have to read the comprehension to solve this. So, there are reports that some of the antibiotics sold in the market are fed to poultry and other livestock as growth promoters. Overusing these substances are creating superbugs, pathogens that are resistant to multiple drugs and can be passed along humans. Mindful of that, some farming companies have stopped using the drugs to make chickens gain weight faster. Since Denmark banned antibiotic growth promoters in the 1990s, major pork exporter says it is producing more pigs and the animal getting fewer diseases. How many of you say A? Option A. Option number A. B. C. D. So A and B should we discuss? Both are extreme statements. Yes or no? People should avoid consuming products of animal farming and food of animal origin should be replaced with plant origin. Both are extreme statements. Easy to eliminate. Using antibiotics on animals should be banned. It should be banned. As a growth promoter, it should be banned. It is mentioned. And if you see the last one, should be used only to treat diseases. So answer is very easy. D. Second passage out of 13 where everyone came in a majority. Next one. Okay, slightly big, but it's a easy one. ಸುಸ್ತಾಗೋಯ್ತಮ್ಮ ನೀನ್ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ನಾನು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So, in the immediate future, we will see the increasing commodification. We will see in the immediate future, we will see increasing commodification of many new technologies, AI and robotics, 3D manufacturing, custom-made biological and pharma products, lethal autonomous weapons and driverless cars. This will pose conundrums. The moral question of how a driverless car will decide between hitting jaywalker and swerving and damaging the car has often been debated. The answer is both Simple, save the human life, and complex. At which angle should the car swerve just enough to save the jaywalker or more than enough? If the driverless car is in Dublin, who would take the decision? The Irish government or the car's original code written in California or a software developer in Hyderabad to whom maintenance is outsourced. If different national jurisdictions have different fine print on prioritizing a human life, how will it affect insurance and investment decisions, including transnational ones? So, rational, plausible, and practical implication, not a critical implication, practical implication that can be derived from the passage given above. Too much globalization is not in the best interest of any country. Modern technologies are increasingly blurring the economic borders. Innovation and capital have impinged on the domain of the state. Public policy of every country should focus on developing its own supply chain. Geopolitics will have to reconcile to many ambiguities and uncertainties. How many of you say option A? Quickly tell. Option A, B, C, D. People are not answering. Hmm? You have to answer, guys. How many of you say C, D, B, A? You reduce even more number. Huh? So, which is the most obvious statement which is not correct? Which statement is not correct among these? Hmm? Which is the most obvious? See the fourth one, public policy of every country should focus on developing its own supply chain. Isn't it an extreme statement? Can every country develop its own public policy? So 4 is eliminated. If you eliminate 4, option 1, option 2, option D is eliminated. Answer is C. Actually, but let's just cross verify the remaining 3. Okay, remaining 4 things. Okay, too much globalization is not in the best interest of any country. Is it correct? Second option which you are telling that no sir, this is wrong. It's extreme statement anta. This was a wrong statement, right? Obviously, globalization is required for the overall development of the nations. So obviously one is wrong. Modern technologies are increasing, blurring economic borders. There was Hyderabad, there was Irish, there was German, there was California. Did you see that? Because of the technology. So 100% 2 is correct. Innovation and capital have impinged on the domain of the state. Innovation is also there, capital is also there. So state is not able to control all this particular part. That is what it implies. Yes or no? Yes or no? So 3 is correct. Geopolitics will have to reconcile many ambiguities and uncertainties. Many ambiguities and uncertainties. Can you see this? Especially the last one. If different national jurisdictions have different fine print on prioritizing human life, how will it affect insurance and investment decision, including transnational ones? 3 statements are giving. 5th is also correct. So answer is what? 2, 3 and 5, which is option number C. Right? How many of you raised actually for option C? Everyone raised for ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೈಗಳು ನಾಲ್ಕು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. Raised off. ಏನಪ್ಪ ಓಂ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್? C, B. He will remember. He forgot his. He remembers yours. Next one. 2 questions are there for this. Organic farming wala. I think this is 14th or 15th. The easy one. Done? Yes? There is a claim that organic farming is inherently safer and healthier. Starts with a positive tone. Okay, claim and shows that it may be a doubtful. The reality is that because the organic farming industry is still young and not well regulated in India, farmers and consumers alike are not only confused about what products are the best for them, but sometimes use products in a way that could harm them as well. For example, since organic fertilizers are difficult to obtain on a large scale in India, difficult to obtain, farmers often use farmyard manure, which may contain toxic chemicals and heavy metals. Certain plant sprays such as datura flower and leaf spray have an element called atropine. If it is not applied in the right dose, it can act on the nervous system of the consumer. Nervous system of the consumer. Unfortunately, how much and when to use are not well researched or regulated issue. What is the assumptions? Organic farming is inherently unsafe for both farmers and consumers. Farmers and consumers need to be educated about eco-friendly food. How many say A? Option A. B, C, D. Hmm? So, first one, organic farming is inherently unsafe for both farmers and consumers. Is it coming to that conclusion? It is just telling that there are irregularities, there are problems because of unawareness. It's not completely rejecting it. Yes or no? So 100% option A is eliminated. That is A and C. Obviously, D is not the answer. Farmers and consumers need to be educated about eco-friendly. Everywhere, right dose, well researched. Basically talking about awareness. Simple answer, right? Majority of you got correct. So answer is B. Let's see one more question which is related to this. Which of the following statements best reflects practical message conveyed by the author? In India, organic farming should not be promoted as a substitute for conventional farming. There are no safe organic alternatives to chemical fertilizers. Farmers need to be guided and helped to make organic farming sustainable. Aim of organic farming should not be to generate huge profit as there is no still global market for its product. How many of you say option A, B, C, D? Is there with anyone D? Isn't it obvious answer? C is the answer. Again, talking about the lack of awareness. It was a simple question. Good, you people are improving. Third statement with majority of you have got correct. Next one. Done? What, Nick? Done. What is the answer? B. So, food consumption patterns have changed substantially in India, over the past few decades. This has resulted in disappearance of many nutritious food such as millets. While food grain production has increased over 5 times since independence, it has not sufficiently addressed the issue of malnutrition. For long, the agriculture sector focused on increasing food production, particularly staples, which led to lower production and consumption of indigenous crops, fruits and vegetables, impacting food and nutritional security in the process. Further, intensive monoculture practices can perpetuate food and nutrition security problem by degrading quality of land, water, food derived through them. Following assumptions have been made. To implement sustainable development goals and to achieve zero hunger goal, monoculture agriculture are inevitable even if they do not address malnutrition. Dependence on few crops has negative consequence for human health and ecosystem. Policies regarding food planning need to incorporate nutritional security. For the present, monoculture agriculture practices, farmers receive subsidy and in ways government remunerate prices for grains and therefore they do not intend to consider crop diversity. How many of you say option A? Option number A. Option A. Raise your hands. This is important, the passages, this will actually tell whether you have understood how to write or not. I mean, how to read or not. How many of you say option A? What? Option A. B? C? D? So majority are telling C. So 60% of you, let's see, I mean B. So first one, sustainable development goals, which are inevitable even if they're not malnutrition. Inevitable is the extreme word. So one is eliminated. So left out between 2, 3 and 3, 4. So 3 has to be correct, right? One among the, it's there in the option. So government policies regarding food planning to incorporate nutritional security, where everywhere it is mentioned about nutritional security only. So it's correct. Then what about your dependence on few crops as negative consequence for human health and ecosystem? It talks about your monoculture, right? Monoculture, how it is, focusing on food supply but not nutritional security. So 2 is correct. So what about the fourth statement? Monoculture practice, farmers receive subsidies and government offers remunerative price. True in its sense in India, but not in your passage. Not in your passage. Are you people understanding? So that is why it is not in the correct answer. 2 and 3 is the answer. Option number B alone. Next one. Elephants. This was asked last year, 2023. 2023 it was asked. Even if not all, at least we should touch 20 out of 23. Done? Yes. So elephants are landscape architects creating clearings in the forest, preventing overgrowth of certain plant species and allowing space for the regeneration of others, which in turn provides sustenance to other herbivorous animals. Elephants eat plants, fruits, and seeds, propagating the seeds when they defecate in other places as they travel. Elephant dung provides nourishment to plants and animals and acts as a breeding ground for insects. In times of drought, they access water by digging holes which benefits other wildlife. Which of the following is a rational inference? Rational inference. The home range of elephants needs to be a vast area of rich biodiversity. Elephants are keystone species and they benefit the biodiversity. Rich biodiversity cannot be maintained in the forest without the presence of elephant. Elephants are capable of regenerating forest with species as per their requirement. Okay. So, how many of you say A? B? C? D? So again, majority, wins. Fourth question. So obviously, the vast area of rich biodiversity, it is not telling any requirement of the land. It is just about wherever elephant does, it does, it does its particular work. So option A is eliminated. Then if you see your option number C cannot be maintained without elephants, extreme statement. Now B and D, elephants are capable of regenerating forage with species as per their requirement. Is it per their requirement? Are they controlling it? No, right? They are not controlling it. It's just, other species are getting benefited from it. Yes or no? So answer is option number B. Easy one. Next. This was also in 2023 only. The emissions humans put into the atmosphere now will affect the climate in the middle of the century and onwards. Technological change, meanwhile, could make a future transition away from fossil fuels to cheap, or it might not, leaving the world with a terrible choice between sharply reducing emissions at huge cost or suffering through the effects of unweighted warming. Businesses that do not hedge against the threat of certain uncertain outcomes will fail. The world cannot afford such recklessness on climate change, which is the crucial message conveyed by the passage. Businesses that cause emissions may need to close down or pay for pollution in future. Only solution is technological development related to the issue of climate change. Waiting to deal with carbon emissions until technology improves is not a wise strategy. Since future technological change is uncertain, new industry should be based on renewable energy resources. How many of you say option A? Option number A. Option number A. B. C. Option number D. So the first one, close down, may need to close down. It is not a completely extreme statement, but there is no indication of that, businesses has to close down, which is not abiding, nowhere mentioned. So A is eliminated. Only option is technological development. Is it the only option? There are multiple options. One among them is that it's extreme statement. Waiting to deal with carbon emissions until technology improves is not a wise strategy. So here, if you see, technological change could make a transition away from cheap, fossil fuels cheap, or it might not. It might not. One indication. Second, leaving the world with a terrible choice of reducing emissions through the effects of unweighted warning, businesses that do not hedge. So one option which is supporting this is this. Since future technological change is uncertain, new industry should be based on renewable energy sources. Is it practical to waste, the new industries only on renewable resources? Is it practical? Is it practical considering the next 25, 30 years? No, right? So it is kind of an extreme statement only. So answer is what? C is the answer. Okay, C is the answer. It's not a wise strategy. This also is in 2023. Next one, two more will do, then we'll stop. Easy one, do it. Okay, slightly, analytical, little tricky also. Slightly tricky one, okay? Read properly. So, environmental problems causes health problems. Very important statement. Substantial changes in the lifestyle can reduce environmental or health problems. But this idea, see, remember this, can reduce. But that means it is possible. But the option is there. This idea appears almost impossible to adopt. With environmental problems, individual efforts can be perceived as having a negligible effect and therefore lead to inertia. With health, on the other hand, individual choices can make the difference between life and death literally. And yet, barring a few, there seems to be a same collective lethargy towards making these choices. Which of the following is a rational assumption? Most rational. Remember this, it's a relative word. So answer can be 2 also, considering the thing, but which is the most correct answer? Okay. So how many will say option A? Option A. Option B. Option C. Option D. Okay. So we are likely to spend more money on cure rather than prevention. So prevention is about all the choices which you make, which is mentioned here, efforts here, and collective lethargy means you're not taking the action. So this can be correct. Let's see. B, it is a job of the government to solve environmental and public health problems. Is anywhere mentioned government? No. It is also mentioned about individual efforts, individual choices. So the easiest option to eliminate is B. Health can be protected even if environmental problems go on unattended. Go on unattended. One is within the particular passage, it is clearly mentioning about, individual person has to take a step by himself. It is nowhere mentioned that if environmental, if you see over here, substantial changes in lifestyle can reduce environmental problems, but this idea, remains or appears almost impossible, right? That word almost impossible is indication that C is the wrong answer. Are you people understanding? D, loss of traditional lifestyle and influence of Western values and unhealthy way of living. I was thinking that, majority will you answer this only. Is there a debate between tradition and Western values? It is just about individual effort and individual choices and in the lifestyle. It is not about, Western in the Namhalagoito, Adala tea angadili madira adalla idu. It is nowhere that particular debate. It's strictly about your choices which you make by which you remain healthy and also environmental will be linked, right? So D is not the answer. It is never a debate between Western and traditional values, which is not even mentioned there, right? So answer is option A. Are you people understanding? Now, out of these 19 questions, quickly make a count how much you got correct. How much you got correct? Just count. Do a tally. I'll give you a minute. Count ಮಾಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. You both were the same answers, huh? Different answers, no? You remember how much count it is. Done? Quickly count. So, how many of you got above 16? 16 and above. How many of you got 16 and above? Which is roughly 85% accuracy. No one? Okay. How many of you got, if at all I will get 15 by 20, 75%. 15 correct, 14 or 50? 14 correct. Above 14. 14 and above. Only one person. Okay. India ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, who is that person ಅಂತ? How many of you got 10 and above correct, which is 50% accuracy? 10 and above. Anyone has got less than 5? So 10 and above means 50% accuracy. Anyone less than 5? Is there anyone? Okay, 1 or 2. Okay, fine. So remember, maximum is from the range of 6 to 10, right? 6 to 10. So roughly the accuracy is, 25 to 50% is your accuracy. The majority of the people over here. Those of you, okay, no one got above 16. Those of you got, above 14, nothing to worry. You just keep on practicing how you're thinking. It will be completely fine. You will do, good in the exam. It's fine. People who have got, between 10 to 14, those people, little bit of brushing. Okay, little bit of brushing this. We see this is only analytical and descriptive. Still, we have not touched upon philosophy. Okay, that is tomorrow which you're going to do. It's only analytical and descriptive. So those people have got 10 to 14, little bit of brush up and little bit of philosophy also we get, 60% accuracy. Out of 20, let us say 28 comprehension, at least 20 will be correct. So you're in the safer zone. Another, 10 to 12 questions you have to answer. Those people who have got less than 10, guys, remember, see, it's actually easy. Idina comprehend madodu easy. Rather than doing some topic from aptitude, which don't even, where you have to study from, which book there is no idea, there's no syllabus, then actually reading it. It's easy. But what it takes is practice. It takes practice, the way you think. People who had given your SSC banking exams and all, ಅಲ್ಲಿ complete different adu. It's a complete different zone. People are coming from school and college, obviously very very basic thing is the copy paste irutte ashte. But here analysis is required. Are you people understanding? So no need to get disheartened if you're told, you know, your accuracy is less than 50%. No need to. If you're told you got less than 10 questions, it's completely fine. Okay, now you're starting. Hokta, 50 will become 60, 60 will become 70, 70 will become 80, and one day you'll get 100% accuracy also. Right? It's 100% possible to get the accuracy here and get all the questions correct. Right? So obviously, CSAT is just one part of it. English is the part of CSAT, and CSAT is itself a part of a bigger game. Okay. Since you are aspiring to become the future officers, obviously a tough job ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ start taking the tough from now only. Completely fine. No need to feel bad. No need to get disheartened. Okay. The more you will fail or the more you will not answer properly, the better is the chance you will be preparing. Okay. And remember one thing, whichever comes slowly to you know, that will remain with you for a permanent time. Okay. So the knowledge ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಇದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ, if you know, some people have got, you know, obviously if you, a luck factor will also be there. And because of the luck factor, if you feel okay, fine, you know, I'm happy, I know everything, and the kutkondre, that person will not work hard, right? But a person who is not getting enough marks or enough correct, you will work hard, right? So you will be well prepared. So don't need to worry. Tomorrow we'll come back, same timing, same venue. We start with philosophical. Here we spend roughly 2 to 3 minutes for every, you know, type of comprehension. Tomorrow we'll give little bit time because you have to understand every comprehension, right? So tomorrow also come with the printouts. Those people, you know, I'll be sharing with you those the remaining people who are associated over here with Rajkumar Academy. Please make sure that, you know, you ask your friends or you ask the, you know, management. Is that fine? 1 minute, guys. I'll just leave 1 minute. Was it helpful? Yes. Did you learn? Yes. So I hope it was a productive session for you people also. Nice time spending with you, 3 hours, right? Thank you, guys.